They don't match nothing. And I'm not, think about it. The Justice Center, I just wish we had more transparency in the Justice Center and more understanding of what's going on. And here again, this comes from my heart. Next slide. Does the mayor need a vote? By God, we need somebody that has the power to say. Let me tell you something. Everybody know who Jack Welch was? Who's Jack Welch? GE, Chairman, CEO of GE. When Jack walked down the hall, people trembled. Jack could fire you on the spot, and your guests would be cleaned out before you hit the door. Somebody's got to be scared of somebody. Does the mayor need a vote? I don't know, but Fred Russell needs to be able to hire and fire people. I would believe Fred's a big man with his hands tied. The commissioners, none of them have background in these departments. I mean, come on, guys. We need business leaders to run our community. Next slide. Okay, boys and girls, here's where the rubber hits the road. You're standing up, make this one. Can anybody do this?
The failure of any commissioner to vote on any issue except for absence from the meeting when the issue was voted upon, or because the commissioner has validly abstained as provided in the preceding paragraph shall be reported as a no vote.
Okay. Do me a favor, read that one more time, just a little bit louder. And listen to the words, guys.
The failure of any commissioner to vote on any issue except for absence from the meeting when the issue was voted upon, or because the commissioner has validly abstained as provided in the preceding paragraph shall be recorded as a no vote.
Okay. I do my homework, guys. I don't stand up here and not do my homework. Let me tell you something. I read the rules and procedures. Can you see that? This is the rules and procedures. And they vote on this every single year to accept this document. And guess what? They reference 1.0906 all the way through the rules and procedures manual. But somebody got white out and took this out. If you look in the new rules and procedures, it references 1.0906 over and over again. But this paragraph is missing. It's my contention, it stands. This should have never been taken out. The first consolidated government meeting, they talked about extension, and the city attorney said, wait a minute, we can't do this, and it just became an accepted practice. But here's what the book says, boys and girls, and this is the kind of corrupt government we're dealing with. They make the rules up as they go along. All right, that's the next slide. Leadership of Augusta. Holy moly. What a disappointment. What do we call them? Followers of Augusta. Or Augustans that don't care, they're trying to build their resume. Or I want to feel like I'm important for a year. Or my boss says I need this. Leadership Augusta, what a huge disappointment. What do they need? What do they need? Where do we go? Who do we turn to? And, click the hiccup slide. See that? That's in the year 2000. The year 2000. Brenda Durant, myself, and Jan Wiggins. We sat down and we came up with Solutions 2000. This is 10 years ago, almost to the day when we sat down and did it. 10 years ago, we formed Destination 2020. We gave it its name. We formed a board of directors. Back up a couple slides. Back up where we're leading. We formed a board of directors, put officers in the chairs, and started rotating the officers for Leadership Augusta to build Destination 2020. Next slide. We paid $25,000 in the city for this little slick brochure. Remember, Kathy, the 10s, 20s, 25s? $25,000. $25,000. But the leadership in this town does not want to see it go forward. The leadership in this town did not enable them to succeed. The leadership in this town is happy controlling you. The leadership in this town, why did this project die? Why wasn't it embraced and held dear by our government? Because they don't want it. Because it's going to mean somebody's going to lose a contract. Or somebody's brother is now, he was in jail paying stripes, and now he's out paying stripes. We just can't figure out who's going to. Leadership Augusta, $25,000. Swear to God, true story. That was 10 years ago. Leadership Augusta needs to wake up and decide whether they're leaders or followers. And I can tell you that's just the way I feel about it. Don't use us to build a resume and claim yourself to be a leader when you're not. Shame on them. Next slide, city charter. Next slide. Back up. City charter. Who knows about the city charter? Well, basically, it was written by a couple of crooks, Robin Williams and Charles Walker. Okay. Basically, it's designed for a flawed government. You know, we're in books as an example of consolidated government that's failed, that doesn't work. But look, we don't look at the elephant in the room. We don't stop to say this ain't working. And I'll say we're $8 million in the hole. Our emergency reserves are being drained down constantly. But no, we don't want to look at the problem. We might have to do something. Think about it. I'm making a challenge today, and I've already asked Americans. Nobody likes to be blindsided. One of our goals, we're going to address this city charter now. It's not. Let me tell you something. In negotiating, there's all kind of, and you've learned this. There's all kind of negotiating ploys. There's the hot potato, there's the stall, there's the dodge, there's the one and all. And these are real techniques you use to negotiate. And one of the famous negotiating ploys is the stall and the dodge. And I've been stalled and dodged to death. I went before the Atlanta delegation. Oh, we can't get to it this year. We'll get to it next year. The next year, well, you missed the deadline for us to make it into a bill. We'll get to it next year. You know when I started doing that? 10 years ago. I earned the right to be this man. City charter. Next slide. Goals. What are our goals? As a community, do we have a written plan of action? Where are we going to be in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Do we have systems in place to meet those goals? All you have to do is walk across the bridge to North Augusta, and they get their 1 year, 5 year. There's no doubt they'll get their 10 and 20-year goals. We're going nowhere except for $8 million in the hole because we have a bunch of people that don't care. If I allow you to get elected, what will I do after I'm elected? Nothing. But what to help me? Here's what I propose. Shadow government. What is shadow government? Well, shadow government is just that. It's popular in other cities. I like to tell you I made this up, but I didn't. After all the race riots in the 60s, in Chicago, San Francisco, where they really tore up the city, they created shadow governments because nobody trusted anybody. They created committees to just pay attention to their elected officials. And that's all I want us to do is I want us to go out to our neighborhoods, to our different districts. You know the first district I called that jumped right on it? Hyde Park. Let me tell you about Hyde Park. I love those people. I love the people of Hyde Park. There's a proud heritage there. There's a lot of famous people that came out of Hyde Park. But let me tell you about Hyde Park. They asked me to help. They asked me to get involved, and I got involved. And I did things for them. And I made things happen. I put them on the map. There are people in Hyde Park that don't want to move. There are people in Hyde Park, and they'll be the first one to tell you, we know we're poor, but we own this. This is ours. Don't take it from me. There's a lady I went and saw, God bless her, the most precious woman I've ever seen in my life. And she said, my husband worked for your family for years. And he took a block of wheat home and built this house by himself with his own hands with blocks he got from Mary Brothers Brick and Tile. They